Hi,
Eight.
I'm Miranda, and this is Nick.
Wait.
Welcome to episode 8 of Ranting. And this is our Rants on the Rocks episode, where we review different types of media, whether it's books, movies, documentaries, TV, whatever we feel like yapping about. This week, I decided to take a quick break from book reviews to do a documentary review. And I know last week I said that we were going to do the Ocean Gate documentary, but neither of us were really into it,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, it was just...
Something a little lighter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I watched it halfway through, but then I like finished listening to it when I was mowing the lawn and stuff.
Yeah.
It's not bad, just not really...
I mean,
Not
yeah,
really
it's
what I
good,
wanted. Yeah, I just wanted something a little bit
Very
lighter.
serious too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted something a little bit lighter.
That's fair.
And like poop is funny to everybody. So
Okay. That's fair.
I don't know.
All right.
Whatever. So yeah, maybe we'll end up circling back to the
Yeah.
Ocean Gate one.
Did you
Maybe
say
not.
which one we're doing this
We'll
week?
See. I'm getting there.
Okay.
So anyway, the
We already mentioned poop, so.
Yeah, the documentary that we are going to review today is Trainwreck Poop Cruise, the Netflix documentary by director James Ross. So Trainwreck is a Netflix series of documentaries that focuses on different public tragedies and scandals of varying severity. So I didn't realize it, but like the Woodstock one is actually like in
Trainwreck,
this series. Yeah.
So was the Travis Scott one. That's a train wreck.
Yeah,
one.
I didn't realize that like it was a whole
series,
thing. Like,
yeah.
yeah, I guess I just didn't like think
Yeah,
about
right.
it. I don't know. But anyway, so this documentary chronicles the Carnival Poop Cruise incident that occurred in 2013. Did you know that this happened?
This one, hell no. This is a wild story. This is the year that we entered the military. That's
yeah,
how long
that
ago
you,
it was.
yeah, when you enlisted and everything.
that's
And
when
I
I
mean, we
shipped
had a
out.
lot going on that
I mean,
year.
yeah.
So.
We definitely weren't on a cruise.
No, not on a
Thankfully,
cruise.
we weren't on
but
this fucking cruise.
Yeah. I was too busy like having a baby and
That's
stuff.
true, yeah.
So
Yep.
I was busy.
This is a wild story, though.
Yeah, I didn't even know that this happened at all. I admittedly wasn't paying a whole lot of attention to like
Yeah.
news and stuff that was happening. I don't remember seeing this on social media.
don't
I was
think-
never on like Twitter really.
Yeah, I don't think any
So-
like the train wreck like what is it, like series like episodes or whatever. I don't think I was really aware of any of them. Like the Woodstock, what was it? The Woodstock
I mean,
one was the original one we watched.
I guess I knew of
Travis
Woodstock,
Scott
but I
thing.
didn't know that like it was
Yeah.
as crazy as it was. I heard about Astroworld when it happened.
okay. See, I
but
had no idea it
still,
happened.
I mean, I haven't watched the documentary
Yeah.
either, so like I know that there's stuff. I
Maybe
still
that's
don't
what we
know.
should do. Maybe that's what this should like morph into is like a train wreck, fucking like thing. You know what I mean?
Oh, I don't know. I guess we could do like a whole series.
Yeah, I don't
on it
know.
if you
I don't know.
want.
Like, cause like I learned a lot of stuff actually from like.
I mean, yeah,
I
this
didn't know
one
about
was-
this
Yeah,
incident
no,
at
this
all.
one was kind of crazy. And well, I've never been on a cruise, as you
Yet.
know, so I can't really speak to the experience of being on one, but you can. So, how was your experience when you were on a cruise?
Yeah, I love cruises. But I can't say I love the ocean. I don't hate the ocean, but I don't love the ocean in the sense of like I want to live by it. You know what I mean? But I don't have the fear of it like you do. But I love cruises are so much fun. Like how this, and I know we'll get into it, but like how this opens, like not the initial scene, but like right after we're
Yeah, where
actually
it's
entering.
like the partying and all that stuff.
Well, no, we're
and-
like walking through the boat.
Oh yeah,
ship.
yeah. I made a note about that.
Yeah, and
too.
then like this is like exactly what they described is exactly what you're walking into. You got the casino, you got the deck, you got all this crazy stuff. It's a lot of fun. But then on top of that, like I know you don't like it. You haven't experienced it yet. But it's a lot of fun even when you like get to your destination because they have what's called excursions. Excursions are so much fun.
That's the word.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Excursions are a lot of fun. When I went to it wasn't Jamaica. It was it Cozumel?
that
It might have been it might have been Cozumel where they go.
Oh.
If that's a bay, I don't remember. But I know we got like jet skis and stuff. Yeah, and we got some jet skis on like an excursion, and we were like going around the ship. on the jet skis and stuff. Yeah, they're a lot of fun. Cruises are a lot of fun. I highly recommend them. I don't recommend this one. Yeah, they're a lot of fun.
That's funny. Yeah, well.
And you don't have to carry money at all.
Yeah, can't you like prepay for everything?
Everything
you can
is
like
included.
prepay for the packages and stuff.
So the excursions are like the only caveat. You have to pay for the excursions, right? And everything off the boat. But I know when I went, the couple times that I did, there was no like money, there was no card or anything like that. Everything is just like when you go to dinner, when you go to the buffet, when you go to like get drinks. Well, I think that's the only other thing is I think you may have like a drink card.
You have to buy like a drink package.
Yeah, I think
from what I've seen.
Yeah,
and
but the
read
food
about.
is all included.
And then like I've seen too that like people have advised that you prepay the gratuity or something. So because like when you go to get off the boat, they'll hit you with that like gratuity fee or something like that. That's like tips for everybody on the ship, essentially.
Yeah.
And then some people are like, oh shit, I don't know how I'm going to pay for this.
Yeah, right.
And like, I didn't delve too deep in it, but it sounds like it can get pretty serious.
How do they calculate a tip though? It's been years since I've been
I
on.
don't know.
We were going to go on one like a year or two ago, last year, I think, but then.
Yeah, we thought about then like family stuff happened.
Yeah,
but
right.
then like over the years, we've come close a few times.
Oh, yeah.
To going.
We're going
and
on
then
a cruise.
like.
Yeah, absolutely going on a cruise.
So let's get into it.
All right, what you got?
All right, so
Motherfucking story time.
All right, so the main setting of the cruise takes place in the Gulf of Mexico, and it begins on like the cruise itself began on February 7th, 2013. I had to look that up a little bit. I was a little confused when I first watched this because the first scene, it opens up saying it's February 14th. And so that's how it starts off.
Okay.
It's February 14th. And it shows the view from the plane, like looking down out the window.
That's on recovery, though.
Yeah, so that's when you see the cruise liner coming and everything. And then it sounds like there's reporters in helicopters above the plane and all that. And then at one point, there's like several passengers that gathered together to lay on the floor to spell out help with their bodies.
On the deck, yeah.
Yeah, and I actually just saw a video on TikTok that somebody said that it was her family.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that it was her family that spelled out help.
Also, like they're actively like they're on recovery. Like they're coming into Mobile.
Yeah.
Like they're coming in, so like
yeah.
you are getting help right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's wild though. That was her family.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's some of the stories are kind of crazy. And I mean, they have like the whole preview and everything. That's where you were talking about where they show like when they walked in the ship and all that stuff.
Yeah, well, I saw it as like
two
two previews. So like the initial preview, like as soon as you start if anybody were to go to watch this, the first thing you see is kind of like lights go out, dead in the water, thousands of passengers, stuff like that, right? And but then like as it gets into the story and it introduces like the what are the people known as? Like the not narrators,
people that are being
but
interviewed.
So like once they get into like their stories and everything, once they start walking through it, that's what I was talking about.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of what I did, where it was like a preview of the passenger interviews and stuff.
Yeah.
And then that's where I was like, oh wow, it really is how you said, like it's like a little city, or not even a little city, but it's like its own city.
The boat, the ship. Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But yeah,
did we mention that we
crazy.
watched these?
We did watch these separately.
We watched these separately, so we haven't talked about this off the mics. So
made a point to not discuss it.
Yep.
So this will be interesting to see both of our.
I made some notes, especially like as it gets farther down.
Oh yeah,
like into like the days and everything.
Oh yeah,
like
I took a lot of notes.
I think I wrote like WTF like 6 times. Like what?
Yeah, for real. Okay, so it starts out, they get there. The first 2 days are great, and like everybody's having a really good time. They're headed out to Mexico, and they
sailed from Galveston, Texas.
Yep, yeah. So it's starting out. There's like 6 main interview groups. So starting out with Devin. He was invited on this what was supposed to be a 4-day cruise with his fiance's family. And the plan the itinerary for the cruise was to be at sea for 2 days, be in Cozumel, Mexico, and then back to Galveston, Texas, on that 4th day. And so he's like explaining the interior of the cruise and everything. That's where it was that they're talking about the, huge grand staircase, the arcades, casinos, and like the grand hall of unlimited food. That's where I'm going to camp out.
The large chess pieces.
Yeah, they have like all these things, a theater and all this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And then it introduces this father and daughter, Larry and Rebecca. And Larry, poor Larry, he just wanted to go on a cruise with his daughter. He's like, I had gone through.
He just got divorced.
Yeah, he's like, I went through a tough divorce. I just wanted to spend time with my daughter. At the time, Rebecca was only 12.
Yep. Well, you got to spend extra time with her.
Oh, right. But like, what a fucking nightmare. Anyway, we'll get there. And then there's the 3 girlfriends who were there for the bachelorette party. It was Kaylin, Ashley, and Jamie. And like I said, they were traveling for Ashley's bachelorette party, which like going on a cruise for your bachelorette party. Those are good friends. It's an expensive bachelorette party.
I mean, those
are good friends.
Sounds like a great time though.
If my friend invited me on a cruise for her bachelorette party, I'd be like, girl, I
you probably have to pay for it though.
I can't get out of whatever else I need to do. I'm so sorry.
Out of the life jacket?
Literally anything else. I'm washing all of my hairs individually, and I can't go. I'm sorry.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. That's the worst excuse. God, we're going on a cruise. Anyways.
So they got on a cruise, and immediately you're like, woo, bachelorette party, let's start drinking. Mm-hmm. And they opt to skip the safety brief.
Yep. So they have no idea what the muster station is.
I didn't even know that that's what it was called, a muster station, but it makes sense. Mm-hmm. And then there's Jen, the cruise director, and she was dubbed the voice of the Triumph. Yep. Which she fits it.
Oh yeah,
definitely. She was described as a peppy British woman, which fits.
Yep. And she was, just to clarify, she was employed by she's like part of the crew.
Yeah, she's a cruise director.
Yeah,
so
right.
she welcomes everybody and is like delivering the announcements and like getting everybody excited and involved with activities and stuff. And you can tell that she genuinely loves her job.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. And she seems to be a very good fit for it. Mm-hmm. Like she seems to have a good personality for that. And then she also kind of mentions how the ship is 2 worlds. So there's the passengers, and then there's 1,200 crew members from all over the world. Yeah. That's fucking crazy. Mm-hmm. That's got to be so much fun.
And it's crazy, the hours that they have to put in to just get it to run. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, just even the Abhi, he was the chef from India. Yep. He was the one that said the kitchen workers work 70 hours a week.
Yeah. Sometimes
That's
more.
Nuts. Yeah, and overnight, I mean, obviously, because how are you going to have breakfast ready?
Yeah.
Can't wake up at 5
so
and be
on a cruise ship, it's the majority of it is like 24-hour ops or like Vegas.
I'm assuming so.
No, I'm saying
it's
it's running all the time.
Yeah, I mean, there's people everywhere. You can't just go to sleep and expect everybody to keep the same hours.
Exactly.
So
they're definitely running off of 24-hour ops.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah. Just the night. I don't want to think about it. Anyway. And then there's Hannah, the bartender from the Soviet Union, and she was so funny. She's like, there was so much sex.
So much sex, yeah.
She was really funny. Yeah. I liked her. So like I said, the first 2 days, it sounds like everything was great while they were out at sea.
Everything went perfect, yeah.
Yeah, they're, doing cruise stuff.
The first 3 days.
The first 3 days, right. I guess. Yeah. Because on the 3rd day, that's when they arrived in Cozumel. Yep. So that was February 9th. And so they got off the boat for excursions. I wrote down expeditions. I was like, what the fuck is that word?
They're definitely excursions.
I couldn't.
This is why I need to take you on a cruise.
No.
It's educational.
I literally sat there and was like, it's X something, all I could think of was expeditions.
You could have just asked.
No, because we weren't talking about it.
We can discuss excursions. They don't do any excursions in the documentary.
They went to Cozumel.
That's not an excursion. That's
Oh.
a destination. Excursions are what you do while you're in Cozumel. So if you rent jet skis or if you take a tour, or you go into
well,
the
they
city.
were talking about whatever. Anyway.
Yeah.
God.
What did you call it?
So-
Expeditions? Oh, good. Okay. Anyways.
So the three girlfriends are, they're like mentioning how they're drinking even harder in Cozumel than they did on the boat, which I'm like, that's risky business. Especially because one of the girls, I think it was Jamie, that she was like, I think I like crawled back onto the ship. She's like,
Yeah,
I don't
she
even
couldn't
remember.
getting on, yeah. But they had
That's-
pictures of them getting back on the boat.
I mean, luckily. Well,
And, like,
obviously,
they
we
were,
know
like-
they got back on there.
Well, they had like pictures of like them like sitting on the floor and
Yeah.
stuff. So yeah, they were tore up. They were tore up.
so scary. I would be so afraid of like missing the ship. Like I would
I've
be
heard horror
afraid.
stories about it.
I know. I would
Being
be
left and
so
stuff.
scared of
better
getting
get back on that
left.
fucking boat.
I would have several alarms set. We're getting back on like an hour before we have to.
You have to be, from what I remember though, you have to like check in. So like
That's
when
what
you
I'm
when you come in
saying.
through it's almost like the bottom of the boat kind of thing, because like
Mm-hmm.
you know sometimes it really depends on like where you
Where-
dock.
yeah.
So like sometimes you go straight up to the dock and then like
Mm-hmm.
you come in through like almost like I don't know what it's called, like the technical term, but like the bottom of the boat,
Uh-huh.
the ship. But sometimes you actually have to take a boat because the ship, the harbor. Is that the proper?
okay. It's
right?
too
The
sh-
bay.
too shallow?
The bay is too shallow, so the ship has to stay outside, and then they
Okay.
actually shuttle you back and forth.
How do you get from? Is that a stupid question? How you get
What?
from the ship to the boats?
There's it's like a ferry. It's like a ferry.
No. How do you get from the top of the cruise ship to the boats?
That's what I'm saying. You have to go down, and then there's an exit. There's a ramp that goes out. So have you ever seen like, so for example, have you ever seen like, there's these really high speed videos of like, I don't know why they do it, but like when they're going through like ice shelves and stuff like that, and they do like quick transfers. I don't know like why they do it, but I've seen a bunch of videos of them where this person is like waiting for the ship to pass. Right, and then there's a door that's open towards like the bottom of the boat. Obviously, it's
Oh,
above
and then
water.
they like push them.
Yeah, and then they board on like that. It's
Okay.
similar to that concept. So you have to go down inside the
Okay,
ship,
gotcha.
and then there's an exit, and then there's usually
Okay.
a ramp that you have to go down,
Interesting.
right? That either goes to the dock or it goes to like a boat or something like that, right? But yeah, that's how you would do it. But
Hate that.
yeah,
Gross. I forgot where we were. So they. I'm just thinking about
no.
getting
So
off
the girls
ship
getting
in
back
the
on.
middle of the, well,
no,
not-
the girls
I know
getting
it's not
back
the middle
on.
of the ocean,
but no, what I was gonna say though too is that I think there's some kind of process where like obviously when you get back on the boat, like you have to check in, right? So they can actually like track their passengers. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I've heard horror stories. I don't know like for sure if they're true, but like because I know there's some kind of like in processing, I guess you can call it, like people coming back on the boat. But what if like you don't show up?
You get left.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
They will no,
They'll fucking
absolutely.
leave you
They
there.
leave you.
So, like
they give you the hard hit
get back
time.
on
Get
that
back
boat.
there by that hit time because they don't give a shit. They will leave, and
They
you
got a
need to
schedule.
figure.
Yeah.
You need to figure out how you're gonna get from place to place. That's what I'm
wild.
saying.
If you're getting tore up and like you lose track of time or whatever,
I'm like, we can have one drink in Cozumel and we can drink some more on the ship.
Yeah,
just in
that's
case.
true.
Just
Yeah.
in case.
yeah, people don't think like that on vacation though.
I'm too paranoid.
They're just trying to. Well, this whole scenario is
Oh, this is my fucking nightmare.
you would be on Xanax this entire time.
Oh,
I'm sure.
I literally at one point, I think I even said like I would start considering like weighing my options between like just jumping in the ocean. Like let
You
me
would not jump in the ocean.
weigh my options. No,
Let's
I
not,
wouldn't.
Let's not forget who your audience is.
But I
you're
did say
not-
that. Yeah, I was like, oh my god, how?
That's so funny.
What are my chances?
Yeah.
Give me a boat. Don't give me a boat. Just give me.
But
I would
anyways,
die. Okay. Anyway, so they're having a great time.
yep. So
They
far.
get back on the boat, and then day 4, disaster day.
Yep.
This is February 10th, and
2013.
and
Yep.
2013. And Ashley starts explaining. She's the bachelorette. And so Ashley starts explaining how she woke up and it was like pitch black, roughly 5:28 a.m. And there's this really loud beeping coming from the ceiling. And suddenly the passengers hear Alpha Team, Alpha Team, Alpha Team over and over and over again. I would immediately be like, we are under attack. This is it. Like, we're going down. This is it. Everybody.
That's funny.
Then she's like, after, drinking all day and the night before and everything, they're like, it's just loud and we want water, which is fair. And so then at the same time, Hannah, the bartender, is talking about how she was in bed with one of the engineers on the ship at the time. And so when this starts happening, he gets up out of bed and like starts getting dressed immediately. So that's when she's like, so she's like, oh shit, okay, something's happening. That would freak me out. Seeing if an engineer's taking it seriously, I'm scared.
I'm guessing Alpha, like they never explain like what Alpha Team is, but I'm guessing that's like they're like
all
first
hands
responders.
On deck. Yeah.
Like they're first responders.
Yeah.
Like something,
And Abi, the chef, I guess I don't know if they even said his name. I'm just assuming it's Abi. We're going to go with it.
Okay.
He reported that he was working late. So like we said, working late in the kitchen. And he thought that it was a drill, but then he saw the smoke coming out of the drain. Yeah, in the kitchen sink. And so then crew members start like banging on the passenger doors and telling everybody to get up and stuff.
Yep.
Oh, I'm shitting my pants. And then Steven, the guest services manager, he starts with his interview and everything. And he's saying how when he turned on his radio, he could hear crew members calling for the fire team to deck 0. And so as guests were making their way out onto the top deck and everything, they could see that the big red fin of the Carnival cruise was on fire.
Yeah. Well,
they said smoke.
Yeah.
Like in the video I could see the smoke, but one of them was like, you could see the flames.
But the fire wasn't in the fin.
Yeah. So
yeah.
That's the story.
Yeah.
So obviously the captain reported that there was a fire, which unfortunately happened to be in the engine room.
Yep.
Then he was like, oh, it's, just been in one of the 6 diesel generators, but it's out now. It's all controlled. We still have 5 good ones. We're good to go.
That's what he tells Jen.
Yeah, that's what he said to Jen.
Yep.
So at 6:14 a.m., Jen gets to go and share all, that information with the guests. And so she's reassuring them that, like, there's nothing for them to worry about. The fire's under control. Everything's good. They can go back to bed or start their day. Whatever. It's fine.
Yeah.
But then the lights go out.
Yep.
And
that's after her telling everybody that, like, they go get breakfast, go back to your rooms, like, just everything's under control.
Yeah, and so, like, I'm thinking, I mean, I know they said that it was, like, 6:14 in the morning, but I'm still thinking that it's, like, dark out. All I could think was just complete darkness in the middle of the ocean, and my heart fell in my butt.
I think the sun was just coming up,
Either way, I hate it.
Yeah.
Sharks everywhere. And then the AC cuts out.
Anyways. The lights even went out on the bridge too. Like when the lights went out,
everywhere.
The lights went out everywhere. Yep.
So scary. So everything goes out. Lights, AC, phone signals are down, engines are down. They're just sitting there.
Yeah, that's including the propulsion of the ship.
Everything.
There's nothing, you can't steer the ship anymore.
Completely everything went down.
Yep.
So the next timestamp is at 7:57 a.m. At this point, only the emergency lights are on the ship. And so they felt like people could deal with the AC being out by just going out on the top deck and everything. Which
that sun starts beating.
Exactly. That's the first thing I thought of. But then somebody realized that the toilets weren't working.
This is my first what the fuck, right? Why do your toilets require fucking power?
I know. I was like, who made that?
That's all just like suction. Like that's not even... Anyways,
I don't know.
That was my first highlighted. I'm like,
that's
what?
I know. I was like, why are they relying on electricity to flush? That's crazy. So
because we'll always have power.
Okay. So then Jen, she suggests to all the passengers that they could like try peeing in their showers, but there wasn't an immediate solution for the number 2s.
Yep.
Waffle stomp.
Is that how you like took it? Like she said that to the. So how I interpreted it when they were doing like the interviews and everything was that it was the crew and like the leads. So like in my mind, like how, because like she could just walk straight into the not control room. What is it called? The bridge.
Yeah.
So how I understood it is that before she even like said anything to the passengers, I think they spoke of it. They came up with these plans.
Oh, okay.
On
so
the bridge.
okay.
Then they came up with that, and then she made the announcement. I think that's how. But yeah.
Okay. Well, still,
along the same lines,
that was the first
pee in the shower,
attempt at a solution was to have everybody pee in the showers, but still trying to figure out what to do with poos.
And she seemed really proud of that solution too.
I mean, I guess it's probably better than what anybody else is coming up with.
But wait, there's more.
I know. Oh. So then she comes over the loudspeaker to deliver the news to the guests, and she explains to the crew that the crew was going to deliver red bags to all of the bathrooms on board for them to poop in. So they would then have to drop the red biohazard bags in a bin in a corridor of the ship. First of all, I feel so fucking bad for all of the crew. Every single crew member that had to like touch a biohazard bag. Mm-hmm. Feel so bad for you.
Yep.
So bad.
But also, this actually took me back to NTC. So National Training Center in Fort Irwin, California. For those that aren't familiar. But that's what you have to do.
Poop in biohazard bags?
You can't. The unit gets fined if they find any kind of waste or anything like that.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's one of the things is you need to take out what you bring in. That's including your poop.
So you have to hold on to your biohazard bags the whole time?
There are actually bags that have to get brought back. Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. That's what I remember from NTC. Because you can't just leave those bags out there.
I thought you guys, I just assumed you had to like dig a hole.
No, you can't. You can't. And there's also this is off topic, but there's also a protected tortoise out there.
Oh.
That if you touch it, then the unit gets fined as well. Like you get in huge trouble if you touch, like if you hurt this turtle. I guess it's like endangered or something.
Oh,
but
wow.
anyways, there's a lot of rules, but that's one of the things is that you can't leave like your bags out there.
Wow,
so,
I didn't know
so
that.
I definitely understand like what this crew went through.
I mean, that sucks. I would hate to be on the crew, but if I was a passenger, I definitely would have been like, can I just handle my own shit bags? Because I would have been horrified knowing that somebody else had to deal with that.
I mean, this also wasn't. Anyways,
I know
this gets worse.
Yeah.
It gets so much worse.
So of course they give them the red bags, and everybody's like, "Yeah, I'm not shitting in a bag." Which, like, what else are you gonna do? Shit over a railing?
Well, they also didn't. I mean, a lot of people were gonna hold it because they thought that like.
That's what I'm saying. Is that like I think Ashley said that she immediately started taking Imodium, and then like Devin was like, I'm gonna hold out.
Yep.
It's only a couple days. I'm not pooping in a bag. I got it. It's gonna be fine. Like he was trying.
We'll be rescued tomorrow.
Everybody was like, it's okay. We can handle it. It's only a day. So then the setting changes and it is highlighting Miami. And Buck Banks, who is the Carnival PR representative, he is doing his interview. And he's explaining how obviously it was all hands on deck upon hearing about this fire and stuff. And so they quickly put together this like PR statement with just the need to know information only. You know, conveniently leaving out that they don't have any power, that the toilets aren't working and all this stuff.
I think there was a fire and it's contained. Yep.
That's it. Yeah.
There's so much more happening right now.
Yeah. And so then it goes over to New York where Brooke Baldwin, who was a former CNN news anchor, she explains how CNN had received this press release from Carnival and like they're talking about it and her boss was like, this literally okay, cool. So there was like a little fire on this Carnival cruise and it's contained now. Fine.
Yeah.
And she's even like, this is CNN. Like, we don't care about your cruise ship. Like, there's, Obama's State of the Union. There's the Pope. Like, there's all this other stuff that's going on right now. We don't care. And so.
Did you mention that this was at 10:31?
No, I didn't write
Okay,
the time.
yeah. So this is at 10:31, and one thing that I wanted to know too is how this whole thing unfolded.
Yeah.
Was that it was a set, and this is one of the questions. This is my next comment was before all that took place. The reason it took place was because there was a satellite phone that was pulled out from the. What was the last guy that you introduced?
Oh, Buck Banks.
Buck Banks. That's
the PR guy.
No.
Oh,
on the
Steven,
ship. On the ship.
guest services.
Yeah,
guy.
I think that was the guy. He pulled out at 10:31. Mind you, this whole thing kicked off at 5:28.
Yeah,
so that's when the Alpha Team alert came over, right? So 5:28.
Yeah.
The sat phone wasn't pulled out and called to Miami
until 5 hours
fucking
later.
10:31.
Yeah.
So my next question was why not hours ago?
Yeah.
Like, why wasn't the satellite phone pulled out fucking immediately, right? And then, but yeah, that's how this whole thing kicked off. I just wanted to add that.
No, I didn't catch that. So
the call was placed to Miami, and then the PR person, which was
Buck Banks.
That's when he put out that statement, and then that whole thing unfolded.
So then, meanwhile, over in Lubbock, Texas, was Mary. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. It's Rebecca's mom. Mary is Rebecca's mom.
Yep.
So
I didn't write down any names.
Oh, okay.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah. So Mary had received a call from one of her coworkers, and like her coworker is asking her if she heard about this fire that was on the Carnival cruise, and obviously she hadn't, because it was just this little PR statement with only the need to know info and everything. Like, there was no alarms being rung at all. So she had no idea. But then she's like, "Oh my God, my daughter's on that cruise with her dad." Again, Rebecca and Larry. So Mary couldn't get in touch with either one of them. And so she's like trying desperately to, figure out what the hell is going on. Like,
can't get a hold of anybody.
I would be losing my mind if my kids wouldn't be on a cruise without me. But that's a whole other conversation. Like,
if you don't come with.
No. I won't sign whatever paperwork needs to be signed. So she's like freaking out. Her 12-year-old is on the ship in the middle of the ocean, and she can't reach her.
Yep.
So meanwhile,
at least she has her dad.
Exactly.
She's not alone, but still.
That was one thing that I was gonna say too. Like, luckily it wasn't like on a trip with her friends or like something like that. Like, she at least had
somebody that has her best
there.
interest in mind. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so I mean, realistically, I would feel a lot better knowing that my kids were with their parents.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I'm not consenting, but I'm just saying. So
that sounds like consent.
Back on the Triumph at 12:09 p.m. So now everybody's just like, they're trying to carry on, act like everything's normal. And I'm sure at this point they're like, oh, the crew has it under control and they're going to get things fixed. Like, people probably think that shit's going to be fixed, I'm assuming, because nobody knows just how bad it is at this point.
Are you talking about the people that are on the ship?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, at 12? Okay, go ahead.
I mean, other than like the toilets weren't working, the electricity was out, but I think that still by this point, I think that people are assuming that there are people working on it.
Maybe. What I saw at 12:09 was that rummaging started. People were fighting. People were actually fighting for like resources and stuff like that. Yeah,
no, I did have that.
So the hot sun. People started rummaging, and then there was no open bar, which I thought was a good idea.
Okay,
we'll get to that part.
I did. Yeah.
And then suffocating with no airflow. Like they started struggling.
No, I was looking at the wrong part.
Yeah, this like at 12:09.
Yeah,
that's when shit started getting real.
Yeah, so they were out in the sun, on the top deck and everything. Food and water starts running out. People are looking for the bar, like you said, but that's literally the last thing that anybody needs is to be
100%
going to the bar, because it's getting hot. It's kind of stuffy, almost like claustrophobic inside the ship.
Yep, suffocating with no airflow inside because there's nothing pushing air through.
Exactly.
Yep.
And then the three girlfriends were talking about how they were going to the bathroom together. And like they said that it was like a disco techno peeing in a strobe light, like the whole scene.
Do you know how they got
put
there?
That together. What do you mean?
Do you know how they made that light?
with one of the
They took off
of
the
the light
strobe
from the-
light from their fucking life vest.
exactly, yeah.
That light is there in case
case
you
you
go
need-
overboard
yeah.
or you're in a boat.
Yeah.
That strobe light will activate, right? You can turn it on and
I
they
know.
can fucking see you.
I
What
know.
what they fucking did was they ripped it off the vest. They poured soda on it because some person some person said it was a good idea to pour soda on it, and then
It was
that
someone from the crew that told them to
activated,
do it.
yeah, that
so that
activated
they
the
could
lights,
see.
but it didn't actually activate it to be like just a solid light. It's a strobe light.
Yeah,
So it just
that's what I'm saying. There was like a
strobes.
strobe light
Yes.
scene where they're like in there trying to go to the bathroom.
That is
and I'm
my
like,
third
that-
comment where in all caps, WTF. Like,
Yeah.
why? There's nothing right about this.
No, no,
You
not
should not
at
be
all.
ripping anything off of your life preserver.
No, not at all. And I mean, that
So-
definitely would have been my first question is like, well, what if I use this light, then what?
You just poured Coca-Cola on it.
Yeah,
It's done.
yeah.
I was so
I
mad
don't
when
know.
I saw that. Anyways,
That's funny you said Coca-Cola. I imagined Sprite.
it was dark soda that they
Oh,
poured
okay.
on it. I don't know if it was Coca-Cola. It could've been-
I didn't even look
don't
at.
know.
I don't know.
It was definitely
whatever.
dark
I was
soda.
writing. And
I'm sure it's. I don't know what the activating thing.
they
would
just
be,
said
but-
soda, and I was like,
Yeah.
ocean, light, Sprite.
Okay.
I don't know.
Sure.
I didn't think Coca-Cola. I don't know why. Anyway, so now it's 1:27
Yep.
p.m. and
1327.
okay.
Okay, go ahead.
So the temperature had reduced enough in the engine room for them so that the engineers could go in and inspect the damage by this point, which is crazy because, again, this happened at like 5 o'clock in the morning and they've not been able to even like get in and look at anything. And like, that's what I'm saying is that I would,
Yeah.
I wonder
Yeah.
like what they've been telling the passengers still, even through all this, like,
Well, how I understood it was that the fire was contained, but they couldn't go in because it was too hot. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they don't have like all the
but
fire.
that's the thing is that when they were like, oh, it was contained, it was only one of these engines, but the other ones are fine.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, you guys hadn't even been in there.
Yeah, they couldn't actually properly assess the damage. Was the
Yeah.
the main thing.
Anyway, so they go in there and they're inspecting it and they realize that the fire was way worse
Lot
than
more
what they
serious,
originally thought. The fire had burned through all of the power cables to the entire ship.
Yep.
And literally, I mean this note,
Legit went through all the power cables.
in the picture that they showed, the cables were just a melted pile, and I thought it looked like a volcano, like with how they were laying, like
Yeah.
cascading down, and it looked like with like the burn color
Yeah.
and texture, it just looked like the side of a volcano. All the wires
Oh, yeah.
melted together and everything. It looked weird.
Yeah, those cables were completely severed.
Yeah,
They were
it was
completely
like
melted.
big cables, like in a big
Yeah.
like pile like this, and just melted
At that
all
point, there's
together.
no hope getting power back. You're dead in the
No,
water.
not at all. And look, that was my next thing. So
Mm.
we're not getting any power back at all. And so then Steven had said that Shoreside's plan, which I'm guessing is like the team that they have on the shore. I don't know. Shoreside's plan was to call to Progreso, Mexico, which was the closest port at that point.
Yep.
They had a tugboat that could pull the cruise ship back to the shore to relieve the passengers.
Yep.
So at this point, it's still day 4. It's the first day of disaster, and it's announced to the guests that they will be getting tugged back to the port in Progreso tomorrow morning on day 5.
Yep.
So I wanted to make a note that, like, keep in mind this is only supposed to be a 4-day cruise. They're heading into day 5.
Yep.
So now, not only are people stuck in this fucking dark, hot petri dish, now they're probably starting to be like, I have travel plans to get back home on day 5. Like, how am I supposed to reschedule my travel plan? I'm obviously not going to make my travel plans. Like, what do I do now?
Honestly, I wouldn't even be worried about that at that point. I would be worried about survival at this point.
I mean, both. I would.
Because you have no communication with the outside anyways.
Yeah.
So like there's no sense in worrying about that because you can't do anything about it right now.
I guess,
Like,
yeah.
you are in the middle you are almost in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico. Yeah.
Yeah, in the middle of the ocean. Oh, gross. And hold on.
Oh God. You're not
I know. I
actively
just
there.
started thinking about being on the ship, and it's like dark.
Oh yeah.
There's the water
this gets a
everywhere.
lot
I
worse.
just want to fucking throw up. This was after. Okay, I do want to say, I'm glad that we switched to this one because when I was watching the Ocean Gate one, I was having a really bad time.
Oh.
I was having a really
didn't even
fucking
think about
bad
that.
time. They were showing all of these like
underwater. Yeah.
all of these underwater shots.
I didn't even think about that.
I was like sweating. Oh my
That's
God.
so funny.
I was not having a good fucking time watching that. I don't know what we were thinking with these ocean. I don't know what I'm doing.
You always ask to watch shark movies, though.
I don't always ask, but when I really want to be scared. Because
Whenever you see a shark movie, you're like, I want to watch that.
If I really want to be scared. I know my audience. All right. Now it is 5:58 p.m. Again, it's still day 4, going into the evening. It's starting to cool down outside, which is great because the guests are beginning to realize that it is way too hot to be sleeping in their rooms. And my first question was, I wonder how the passengers with balconies feel right about now, because I would be like, thank fuck I'm sleeping in my room still.
Oh, maybe. Or just pull the bed out to the balcony is what I would do.
That too, but that's what I'm saying. At least you still have your own space.
Yeah, right.
Because guests started dragging their mattresses out onto the top decks of the ship to sleep rather than sleep in their rooms.
Because the majority of the guests don't have balconies.
Yeah,
obviously.
and I'm telling you right now, if we did that shit, we are sleeping in shifts. Absolutely. We are sleeping in shifts because there's a lot of random people out here. Mm-hmm. We can't all be sleeping at once.
And the crazy thing, too, is I don't even know how this wasn't addressed. I just thought of this. This wasn't addressed in the documentary. I don't know if they had them at that point, but like all of those are key cards.
Oh.
There's no power. How are you getting in and out of your room? Is it not secured anymore? Are they all just unlocked?
No, I don't think that they were, because at some point, I don't know if it's coming up on like the day 5 or whatever, but at some point, because like all the room, like all the electricity is off, people start stealing shit and like rummaging through the rooms and stuff. But we haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
So, you know, the guests are taking their mattresses out to the top decks and everything. And at this point, everybody's just hoping that they can wake up, the shoreline's going to be there, and they can get a margarita in Mexico. Because after being stuck at sea, I guess a margarita for breakfast would probably be on my mind too. I don't know.
And then the exact opposite happens.
Yeah. So it's day 5, and they wake up.
8:03.
They're still in the fucking ocean, and Mexico's nowhere in sight.
It's worse.
It's worse. It's 8:03 a.m. And it's announced that the tugboat is expected to arrive at noon. So, yay, I guess. And Devin recalls feeling the air of sickness because there was just shit in red bags in bins in the hallways everywhere. And Abi, luckily, said that he started throwing away all of the perishable food at this point and began just like attempting to make whatever he could with like what was available, what was safe. And then the lines for food ended up being like 2 hours long.
Yep.
And then, I mean, of course, they're running out of stuff. So like they're being in line for that long and everything. And they're looking at what they're getting in comparison to the feast that they had been getting. Mm-hmm. So obviously people are like,
soggy sandwiches.
What the fuck is this?
Yeah, especially for 3,000 guests.
Yeah. Like obviously, they've been out in the sun. They haven't been able to shower. You can't sleep comfortably. People are getting hangry. People are about to start going crazy.
Oh, yeah. And they do.
Yeah. And so, like, the crew is trying to put stipulations on, like, how much food that people can take. Obviously, try and be considerate of your fellow passengers.
Right.
But, of course, people start, like, hoarding.
Yeah,
and trying to create surpluses or, like, build surpluses. And then people were like trying to build a tent city of sorts with the deck chairs, and then even started fighting over the deck chairs.
Didn't even try. They did.
Yeah,
they turned into tent city. Yeah,
and it really
to shield them from the sun.
Yeah, like it really turned into a whole like everyone for themselves kind of deal, which like not.
Yeah, and they even started fighting over territory. Like
Yeah.
there's certain parts of the like sections of the deck and stuff.
Yeah.
Where like you can't. This is ours. Like this is for our people. Like that's exactly how it would work. That is survival mode. That's exactly what would happen in fucking society.
That sounds like a nightmare. And yeah.
Yep.
So now 1:43 p.m. on day 5. The tugboats haven't come by yet. But finally they do see another cruise ship that's coming up to the Triumph. I feel
A sister
ship.
Yep.
And it was the Legend. And they were coming by to drop off some more food and any other resources that they could spare for the passengers of the Triumph.
Yep. But no recovery ops.
No, not at all. Well, and like at first I was like, why wouldn't you like help them more? But it makes sense. You're on a boat. You obviously can't take on all that extra weight. You're going to go down.
Yeah.
So,
and then you're going to feed 3,000 more people.
Exactly. So all they can do is just be like,
here's some food.
Here's what we can do.
Yeah.
Here's what we can spare.
Yep.
So, and again, I feel bad for the people on the Triumph because they had to look at these passengers
still
on the
partying.
Legend. They're over there just like carrying on, having a great time. And some of them even started taking pictures of the people on the Triumph.
Like they were like a...
like they were in a zoo.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
a
so
zoo.
fucked.
Yep. Uh-huh.
Oh, I'd be so salty.
Uh-huh. But something good came out of it.
Yeah, so... Exactly. So at first the passengers were like, fuck you guys. But then they realized that that they might be able to steal some of the cell phone reception from the Legend. So then everybody starts
Wi-Fi,
they start getting out their phones and start like making phone calls and text messages, whatever they can do. Yeah. And so then that's how people started finding out exactly what was going on. And family members start reaching out to like the news organizations and everything like that. And they're like, why the hell isn't anybody covering this cruise? It's just floating out in the ocean and their passengers are like shitting in biohazard bags and it's a whole thing. And so while they're getting these reports and everything, they're realizing that the news reporters are realizing that the press release that was put out wasn't the full story. Yeah. So now they're like, oh, now we have a story.
It's crazy to
Let's
see
pick
too
it up.
the PR guy when he's going through that part of the interview. He's like, yeah, the cat's out of the bag now.
Yep.
Like you could tell that they were trying to keep it under wraps.
Oh, 100%.
Like, this is much bigger than that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They were just trying to get ahead of it by being yeah, there was a fire. We told you guys that. Remember? You recall? We said that.
It's so much bigger than that.
That's so shady.
Yeah.
God. So, so now the story is getting picked up by everybody, and there's like personal testimonies. They're all flooding in. And that's when Frank Spagnoletti, a maritime lawyer, comes in. And what a fucking name is that?
That dude is wild.
If that's not a lawyer's name, I don't know what it is.
You see dude's teeth at the end of the documentary?
No.
Like brown.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Brownie.
Brown.
Yeah, like bad.
Oh, wow.
But it starts with him like he's drinking whiskey in like it seems like the middle of the day.
Oh,
with
I
a
thought
cigar.
he was drinking coffee.
No, that was absolutely scotch. Probably,
oh, okay.
I
wasn't paying that close of attention.
I
guess I was trying to take notes.
In every single scene, he has scotch and a cigar in his hand.
Well, he's a maritime lawyer. He's got a lot of stress.
I guess so.
Probably. I don't know anything about
Anyways.
that. But yeah, what a name though. He was meant to be a lawyer, Frank Spagnoletti.
And then even the passengers start contacting family members too.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Plus
that's how
media.
all the stories and everything really start getting out, and like people start finding out exactly what was going on. And yeah, like you said, that's when what was his name, Buck? He starts saying, like the cat's out of the bag.
Yeah,
this is it. Like they know now.
Yep.
So now I think this is the part where it went back in time.
Yeah.
You had mentioned that.
Yeah. So this is, if you watch this, you'll notice that it goes from 13:43 or 1:43 p.m. And then it goes, and then the next time it says is 12:17, but it doesn't say it's the next day. So I did some digging, kind of fast forwarding or rewinding and everything, and it's not the next day.
No, I think it's just the time.
The time's
time
fucked
difference.
up. Yeah, day 6 is for another 2 time periods.
Yeah,
I think. So it was 1343, and that's when the ship shows up and all that kind of stuff. But then it jumps to 1217. So I think they're just out of order.
Yeah, possibly.
Which kind of makes sense because I actually had a note up top that said that the GPS put them in the middle of the Gulf.
Yeah.
And earlier, but they don't actually address that until 1217.
Okay.
So like the timeline's all messed up.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe it was just because they like changed time zones or something.
That's
I don't
not-
know.
no.
I don't fucking know.
No.
Whatever.
And most likely, well, I don't know what they use, but you can use like Greenwich Mean Time. Greenwich Mean Time. GMT, I think it is.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I think that's what Zulu is off of too, because it's a constant time.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they use it or not, but no, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter. But yeah, so if you go through the 1217 timeline, that will kind of bring it all together.
Yeah, so at 12:17 p.m., this is when the crew finds out that since they had lost all power on the ship, it had drifted over 100 nautical miles. I Googled this, and that is approximately 115 miles. I assume that's very far.
I mean, yeah, it literally puts them dead center of the Gulf of Mexico, where they were close to, not Cozumel. What was the other one that they were going to go to? Progresso. Yeah. So instead of being really close to that, they drifted into the middle of the Gulf. So now they're like directly in the middle.
Yeah. And so now they were further north away from Progresso. And so they were actually moving up towards the states, like up towards Mobile, Alabama. And so now the plan was, instead of them being pulled to Progresso, that the tugboats were going to continue pushing them up north to Mobile, which unfortunately for everybody on board was going to add at least a couple of days to the whole endeavor. Yeah. So rightfully so, everybody on board got pissed. They realized that they were going to be sitting in that filth for days. The urine wasn't draining from the showers anymore. It was just pooling in the bottom of the showers and just sitting there. And then, of course, there was like a rumor of some working toilets somewhere on board. Yep. So Devin was like, I'm on a mission. I'm not shitting in a bag. And so he goes out to find some. And then Abby said that he went into one of the public restrooms, and it was so gross. He said it was just absolutely disgusting. And he was like, he said that it was like a shit lasagna. With like poo, then toilet paper, and then more poo, and then more toilet paper, which is unfortunate because I thought lasagna as well. And then I was like, that sucks because I've been talking about making lasagna, and now I don't.
Is that the one where he said I didn't make a note of this. Is that the one where you said he jumped out of bed? I think that's within this time frame.
Somewhere around there. I think we're coming up on it, and I made a note on it, but we're coming up on it. And so. Devin, meanwhile, ends up finding that working bathroom somehow. And luckily for his in-laws, shared that information with them, which he said was super awkward. But I feel like if you had a place to shit, then like share it with your family and tell them to shut up and don't tell anybody else. Exactly. Because then everybody's going to shit in there. So since everybody was stuck in this shit pit, some of the crew decided it would be a good idea to open up the bar for free. Which I don't know why you would do that.
I made 3 notes here. I said, what, with like 6 question marks. This is a bad idea. This is going to get bad. Is anyone drinking water?
Yeah.
Those are my notes.
Yeah. I know. I was like, bad idea. It would be so tempting to join in and try to embrace the suck, I guess. But it's such a bad idea. And then I was like, you're all going to have a bad time.
Especially when you're already in survival mode and then you add alcohol to it. This is going to get fucking ugly.
Exactly. Yeah. And now, like, what, you're going to go and drink and have to go to the bathroom even more?
That didn't click with me until they actually, explained it. Like, people are pissing overboard now.
Exactly.
And I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah, I was like, you're going to drink. You're just going to have to pee now. And then, like, what if you've been, not drinking water? Now you're drinking all alcohol. You're dehydrated and you start throwing up. You don't have a fucking toilet to throw up in.
Overboard.
Oh,
did you? I don't know if you're going to. Did you make a note of the poo bag being thrown overboard? Okay, never mind. I'll wait then.
I did. So like you said, the people I assumed it was the men, started peeing off the side of the ship. And then other people start throwing their shit bags off the side of the ship. And in one case, a bag came back at someone on a lower deck.
Yep. So it went out and then came back in.
I literally said, I was like, it would be my mission to find that person and throw them off the ship. I'm sorry, you
There's
gotta go.
hundreds of people up there.
I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna find you based on your shit.
So
based on the contents of your poo.
Right.
I'm coming for you.
One is that those bags are meant to be heavy duty because they're biohazard bags. So they're designed to not rip. But I thought it would be funny if it did.
That's so fucked up. That's so, oh my God. This is literally, there's so many. I just think of Steve-O in the porta potty in Jackass 4. He always has his mouth open.
Oh my God, it'd be so fucking funny.
Yuck.
Anyways.
No. The like mental breakdown I would be in the middle of is like.
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. And then what is it, Jamie? She even said that there was like some newlywed couple that was just openly having sex in Tent City.
Yeah. Yep.
What if there were children out
It's
there?
alcohol.
Oh God. And then they said
you're already on borderline heat exhaustion. And then you add fucking alcohol to it. And you're in survival mode.
Yeah, like, and then people start fighting and everything.
Chaos
so of
ensues,
course,
yeah.
Then like they obviously cut off the bar. Luckily, they shouldn't have even opened it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and again, poor Larry is like, I just wanted to protect my daughter. Like, I just wanted this to be a fun trip, and now I have to do this.
Too.
Yeah, he was like, this is not what I wanted to be doing.
He doesn't stand a chance.
No. And then Jen told the crew to shut down the bar once everybody started getting crazy. Luckily. So finally,
should have never opened.
Yeah. Finally, about 3:01 p.m., the tugboats arrive. And they have some resources, and everyone starts cheering because they're like, oh my God, we're finally going to be moving. But
it gets bad here.
When the tugboats start pulling them, everything shifts. And in some perfect storm type of shit, the weather did too.
Yep.
And so now the weather's like, the waters are starting to get crazy, the ship's tilted. All the showers and toilets are just spilling onto the floor everywhere. Yep.
Yeah, because remember that the showers and the toilets, everything is like overflowing with pee and poop, right?
Yeah.
And then as the ship rocks, all that stuff just overflows.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the pictures of Abby standing in the shit water in his sandals.
Yep. I'm pretty sure he said he jumped out of bed because I think he was on like a bunk kind of thing.
Yeah, he's like, I got out of my bunk and just
Yep.
Right into it.
Just like sopping carpet.
Yeah, right there. I was like, this shit would make me want to jump into the ocean for real. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
That's rough.
Oh.
Yeah.
How awful.
Yeah. And this is only day 5.
Only day 5. So finally, well, not finally. So now we're on day 6.
Yeah.
There are more details that are starting to emerge about what's happening on the cruise and everything. And
from the media, you mean?
Yeah. Okay. And the CNN boss, Jeff Zucker, directed all of the reporters for CNN to just go all in on the story because they needed more views and everything. And so now the Carnival Triumph is getting wall-to-wall coverage on like all of these news sites. And they're bringing in all different kinds of professionals, like these maritime experts, lawyers, psychologists, to speculate like what the passengers must be enduring and everything. Luckily for Frank Spagnoletti, he started doing research into past reports from Carnival.
Yep.
In the previous 2 years, there had been 9 incidents of faulty fuel lines while the vessels were at sea, with potential for fire on every single one.
That's not great.
That's not great at all.
That's not great. And Carnival is like one of the biggest.
Yeah.
One of the biggest cruise lines.
Yeah. Like, oh, that's so crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. And then before day 7 comes along, 23:23 or 11:23, people are literally just waking up to go back to sleep. Like there's nothing else to do. They're just like in survival mode. There's nowhere to go, nothing to do.
There's no food to eat or anything.
The tugboats are pulling them.
Yeah.
I think there's like some soggy sandwiches maybe from earlier that day, but I think all the resources are pretty much taken up.
Yeah.
And then they're just waiting to get home. And then day 7.
Yeah. So on day 7, everybody's starting to get stir crazy. So I mean, there's
Cabin
7.
fever,
There's
yeah.
7 days into a 4-day cruise. Like I would be losing my shit. The fucking Bible study, that would have been it for me. I'm going in the ocean.
I don't know.
What
I don't know. I looked at it as like, I know we're not like, we're not like churchgoers or anything, but I thought that was a good sign. I think that was people coming together. I would rather see something like that, like being on the boat. I would rather see something like that than people fighting over territory, hurting each other, stealing resources.
People fighting over territory.
Well, I mean, this is good because like they're praying and they're singing and like that's healthy. That's definitely healthy.
I guess I was just like, fuck off. I'm not like, this is some real end of days shit, and I'm not doing it.
I'm sure it was comforting for them.
I guess good for them. I would want to go in the ocean.
I mean, I'm sure like, that instead of just like waking up just to go back to sleep, they, try to find comfort.
Oh, because now they're singing and they just get loud and like, that's more annoying.
It's a big shit. Just go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Well, no, like the people that are annoyed, just go somewhere else.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
Just going literally anywhere else.
Yeah. Like
anywhere else.
Let them do their thing. They're just trying to survive.
I'm trying to keep my sanity intact, and listening to you guys sing isn't helping. So, day 8. Finally, they're getting to Mobile, Alabama, and there are news cameras set up at the port. There's family members showing up to like pick up their loved ones and everything.
At this point, they've been getting towed for what, 2 days? I think.
Yeah, I think so.
At
yeah,
1500 on day.
I think it's day 6 is when the
day 5.
Day 5.
Day 5. Yep. So they've been getting pulled for a couple days now.
Yeah. Well, because day 5 was when they realized that they couldn't go to Progresso.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, at the next timestamp, it's 4:17 p.m. and they're saying that it was the last day, and it just seemed to drag on forever. And doesn't it always? Honestly,
right.
The last day just seems like it's never ending. So as the ship is approaching shore and the guests could see more news helicopters circling the ship and everything, and passengers were able to get reception, more calls and reports were coming in about their experiences.
That's got to be comforting though, because you know that like if the helicopter is right there, like you're close.
Not too far.
You're getting close to the coast.
Yeah, definitely. And then this is when like they realized that the hashtag cruise ship from hell starts trending all over social media. And so
Poop Cruise was trending.
Yeah, and they like already it had been reported on. SNL was already starting to like make a skit about it.
Yep.
Late night
Conan.
shows were reporting and making jokes about
Jon
it and
Stewart.
stuff, and it was obviously a whole PR nightmare for Carnival. I mean, I don't really feel that bad for Carnival.
Yeah, they were super worried about what was going to happen when the and we'll get to this, but I can see why they were like super worried about like what's going to happen when the ship docks.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
Like yeah,
that would be my thing. If I was in charge of PR for that company for Carnival, like fuck
yeah,
me.
the outrage and everything like that.
Like,
but at the same time, I mean,
get fucking ugly.
Yeah. So now it's 9:29 p.m. and finally, like the ship is pulling into the port, and there's a crowd there waiting for everyone, and they start cheering as the ship is pulling in.
This might sound stupid, but I look at that and like I don't know, I'm a lot less sensitive to it, I guess. But like I look at it as like a they're only out there for a few days, right? But like I look at it like a coming home ceremony.
What do you mean?
Like from deployment? Like kind of like that kind of feeling.
Yeah.
Like just to be pulling in, like that's got to be the best feeling in the fucking world.
Oh, I'm sure.
You know what
yeah.
I mean? Like even though they were only out there for like, I look at it as like it was only like a few days, right? But it's still to them, like that's got to be the greatest fucking feeling to be pulling into the fucking port.
Yeah. Honestly, I would.
The nightmare's coming to an end.
Yeah. I would even still like, I mean, thank you to the people that came out, but I'd be like, don't look at me, don't touch me, don't get close to me. I smell like shit. I need to go shower.
Literally, yeah.
Like, don't come near me. Don't put a camera on me.
They never once
get
said
in
anything.
several showers.
I'm assuming since there wasn't any functioning toilets, that there wasn't any running water either.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like,
so yeah, I think that's fair.
I would be like, thank you, appreciate your support. Do not come any closer. Like,
That's
every
funny.
time I take a step forward, I need you to take 5 steps back.
Yeah.
Just because, like,
But
it's
also,
been days.
for like a mother that thought they were going to lose their child, they don't give a fuck about
Oh,
that.
yeah,
You know
that's
what I mean?
true.
Like,
I would
fucking,
be like,
care.
I don't
you
give
survived,
a shit. Yeah.
You know?
No, I'm saying if it was like
Yeah.
me, as
Oh, yeah.
I'd be like,
Yeah.
I'd be walking off like this.
But to be fair, this could have ended so much worse.
Oh, so
much
badly.
worse.
Yeah, it definitely could have. Like I said, that's my nightmare.
Could you imagine? I just thought of this. Could you imagine if this didn't happen in the Gulf, but happened in like the Atlantic or Pacific? And like you just floated farther and farther out? Because at least in the Gulf, I literally just thought of this. Like at least in the Gulf,
You're gonna run into something.
you're still surrounded,
Yeah.
right? So like you can you have options. But if like you're on one of the other ones, you know what I mean, one of the coasts, and you just like lose power, then you start floating out. There's no other options. Isn't that a nightmare? Anyways, I just thought of that. Sorry.
Thank you for sharing that with all of us.
You're welcome.
So it's 9:29. Oh
There
no,
you go.
I already said that.
Yep.
See, I'm all fucked up.
That's
I don't
fine.
even know
Everyone's
what I'm
just happy to
talking
be
about.
back.
Oh, I was just thinking about
People
it.
start cheering.
So when people were getting off the ship, their loved ones were like kissing the ground and running to reunite and everything.
Media's everywhere.
Yeah, and luckily there were guests that were giving credit to the crew members, and that was one thing that I was like,
was the greatest thing.
If anybody were like to bitch about the crew members at this point, you're terrible, because guaranteed they had to deal with significantly more shit than you
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
As a passenger, yes, I understand you went through some shit. The crew went
Yeah.
through more
The crew-
because they had to deal with all of your shit and
Yeah.
keep working and keep trying to,
The crew
people are
definitely
looking
could've-
to the crew to have answers.
Yeah, the crew definitely could have like had a sour attitude about it and been like, "Fuck this! This isn't my job." Blah blah. But
Oh,
like,
it sounds like they really like rallied
fact-
together and tried to like.
the fact that they actually like, yeah, they did just that. Like they actually came together and
yeah,
worked
like they
together
really
and, like,
tried to be a team about it, is what it
That's-
seems like, and that right
that's
there
what-
is like.
yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
that's probably what saved a lot.
That
of
is
us.
a trauma bond for sure.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Oh God.
that's insane. But
Yeah. But yeah, it was a really joyous moment for everybody.
there was even in the documentary, there was even like sheets that they even went to the lengths of like, I don't know what they colored it with, but there was like sheets hanging over some balconies that were thanking the crew members. Like they even went to those lengths to thank them.
Yeah, that's good.
So
I'm
that
glad
shows
that they,
you that like
yeah.
they did a
I'm
phenomenal
glad
job.
that they got the appreciation that was
Yeah.
deserved, because like the second that things started going bad, I immediately was like, fuck that crew.
That crew,
like
yeah.
that sucks so much. Cause you know that like,
Yeah.
okay, I work here, like people are automatically gonna be looking at me to fix shit,
especially
or like
for
whatever.
like, especially like even like Jen, which had an important job, like the
Yeah,
kind of
the
communication.
cruise
You're
director,
the
yeah.
messenger, and the messenger is the first one to get fucking shot.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
100%.
But
Like
it seemed like everybody was very, obviously everybody was still stressed out, and there was still chaos and everything. But
yeah.
at the end of it, it looked like they handled it very well.
Yeah. They had said, I think I saw like a video somewhere, or there was some like report from somebody that had said that like there was a couple people maybe that had tried like giving Jen attitude and stuff, but then like the other passengers were like booing them.
Oh, okay.
And so, you know, it became very clear that like
Yeah.
we're all in this together, but like you're not going to turn on the crew.
Yeah, right.
Like
That's good.
Which obviously, because you're stuck in the middle of the ocean, the last thing I want
Yeah.
to do is make an enemy of the crew. They know how all
Right.
this shit runs.
Yeah, I mean,
they're the ones
it's-
keeping us alive.
It's not running right now.
Well,
but yeah.
obviously, but
Yeah,
like they
yeah,
know the
yeah.
ship more
That's
than
true.
I do.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not making an enemy out of the crew. Are you kidding
that
me?
very easily could have turned into like mob mentality.
Oh, 100%.
kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
it's good that they're like, no, let's not do this. Like,
Yeah.
it could have been a lot worse.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like it could have been like it could have been Mad Max on that fucking on that ship. But yeah.
Oh God, I'm glad it wasn't. So like I said, it was obviously a very joyous moment for everybody to be reunited. And then at the end, I thought Devin was really funny because he was just so glad that he didn't have to use that red bag. He was like, I made it through. We all made it through.
Yep.
Or like him and his in-laws made it through without having to use a red bag. And then after everyone safely got off the ship, Frank Spagnoletti started working on a lawsuit against Carnival Cruise Line. He had found that the fire on board was completely preventable. So that's why he felt good about moving forward with the lawsuit.
But wait, there's more.
Yep. So unfortunately, well, first, it had actually been reported after an investigation by the Bahamas Maritime Authority, the U.S. Coast Guard, and the National Transportation Safety Board that the fire had likely been caused by a leak in a flexible fuel oil return line. I don't remember which.
I didn't catch that part. Okay.
No, I looked it up. I'll link my references. I don't remember which. I think it must have been the cruise passenger. I don't know. I'll link my references.
Oh, so you didn't get that from the documentary?
No, I looked that up. Oh. Yeah, so I did like some extra research.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, got it.
But anyway, like you were leading up to with that lawsuit, unfortunately for the passengers, when they purchased their ticket, they waived their right to sue because the ticket contract said, quote, that Carnival makes absolutely no guarantee for safe passage, a seaworthy vessel, adequate and wholesome food, and sanitary and safe living conditions.
I made that same note.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's the fine print. That's fine print.
What the fuck? So, because of that loophole, all of Frank's cases ended up being settled.
Yeah.
And
which I think is still winning, right?
I mean, if they paid off this like a settlement to people.
Well, I mean, they did, and we'll get to that part, but I think that's still like a win in his book, right?
I guess, yeah.
At least somebody was fighting for them.
Yeah,
that's the way I look
luckily,
at it.
yeah.
I'm not a fucking
that's
lawyer,
true.
so I don't know,
No,
but I would think that kind of drove the,
100%. So to end on a happy note, they did kind of a compilation, I guess is what you could call it, for everybody, like the people that were interviewed at the end.
Oh, right. Yep.
And so to end on a happy note, Ashley was able to make it back for her wedding, and she even gave her bridesmaids gifts wrapped in red biohazard bags. I thought that was funny. And
that's
then,
trauma bonding.
Oh, yeah.
Right there.
And then Devin and his father-in-law now go on vacation together every year, but never on a cruise.
Yes.
And
only on land.
Yep. And then Larry and Rebecca, the father and daughter, those two do still go on cruises together, just not with Carnival. And then
is that what they said? Oh.
Yep. And then Abby, the chef, said that he's never looked at lasagna the same way again. And I fear that I won't either. Which, like I said, is gnarly. Unfortunate because I really wanted to try some with a bechamel sauce. But anyway.
Good thing I don't like lasagna, so.
It wasn't about you.
I'm in the clear. Oh, okay.
I wanted the lasagna. So, I still love you. I make you toast. Texas toast.
Oh, God.
So, anyway, following the poop cruise, Carnival spent $115 million to clean up, repair, and refit the ship. And now
that same ship.
Ship. And now she sails under the name Carnival Sunrise.
So if you cruise with Carnival, stay away from fucking Sunrise. Because that's disgusting.
Yeah.
There's no way that
I saw videos on TikTok,
There's
and of course, people can say whatever. Some people were saying oh, I had gone on this cruise. I didn't realize that it was this one or something like that. And then other people were like, yeah, I was on there and it smells like shit. So I mean,
who knows?
People say whatever.
Especially if you know the history of the ship.
Exactly.
And then you're like, I bet that stains from the fucking...
Yeah,
that's
if you know that, you're going to go in there with that in your mind, and you're going to be thinking that you smell shit everywhere.
Exactly.
So,
but at the same time, there's no way that they cleaned every
nook and cranny.
Fucking... There's no way.
I don't know.
Because not only that...
$115 million to fix it, maybe, but I don't know.
Because you got to think, the entire ship
Yeah, the
had,
whole thing.
you know, and even like the smoke even went up the drain
Yep.
in the beginning.
Yeah.
So like smoke, the fire damage, the feces and all that stuff. Like there's no, I'm not, no.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go
I
there.
would not get on Sunrise.
No. So they did that, and of course, Carnival insisted that the fire was an accident, of course, and that they had taken all of the recommended safety precautions. Passengers aboard the ship were given a full refund, including transportation expenses, a $500 payment, and then they were all offered a free cruise
On Sunrise.
Yeah, which
No, just kidding. That wasn't
I
part
don't
of it.
know, but still, I
It
would
wasn't.
probably
Sunrise wouldn't have been ready by then.
no. I probably still would have been like, thanks, no thanks, Carnival.
I mean, to be fair, Carnival
I
is
don't
still an
know.
outstanding cruise. It's just don't.
Yeah,
just stay
to
away
be
from
fair,
Sunrise.
this is like the only bad thing I've ever heard.
Yeah,
about
just stay
Carnival.
away from. I mean, they have their history. I mean, clearly they had the nine other.
yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, they're still an outstanding like cruise line. I guess, cruise line.
Yeah.
But I definitely would stay far away from Sunrise. Fuck that.
So they also said that they even went so far as to carry out safety upgrades aimed at preventing more fires.
Yeah. Yep.
And then it was also reported that they changed their terms and conditions to remove the caveats about the food, sanitary and safe living conditions, the safe passage, and then about a seaworthy vessel. And then that's the end.
Yeah. And I thought that was pretty phenomenal too, because like I don't know like what brought visibility to that. I think it's this event, obviously. If this event didn't happen, it was probably only a matter of time before this fine print came to light. Because like that's a pretty shady fucking move
That's
by a
crazy.
company. Is like, we don't guarantee wholesome food, sanitary and safe living conditions,
seaworthy
safe
vessel?
passage, and seaworthy vessel. You don't guarantee exactly what I'm fucking paying you for.
You don't guarantee that it's safe for me to be on this ship in the. I mean,
Well, that's probably
obviously
why.
That's
Honestly,
Titanic. But-
that fine print is what saved them probably billions.
Oh, that would have
From this
they would have been
incident.
done.
But they probably would have gone under. Yeah, I would
Yeah,
think so. From
I
all the
think
lawsuits,
so.
I think that fine print though, because everybody signed, the dotted line and
Yeah.
they agreed to those terms.
Yep. That's
But
exactly it.
what I was thinking of at the end of the documentary was like how that played out. Because I don't think, I can almost guarantee, that the company wouldn't decide to do this on their own. You know what I mean? Like there was probably like part of these settlements, like part of the court hearings or whatever the case was, however that process works. I'm sure there was like some judge or something that was like, you can settle all these or whatever, but you need to fucking change this fine print.
Probably,
This
yeah.
will be changed.
Yeah.
That's part of the settlement, I would assume.
Probably.
And that's probably because if
That
that
makes
if that
sense.
wasn't part of it, they probably would have stayed as the fine print
Yeah.
was.
That makes sense. That makes a lot
You know what I
of
mean?
sense,
It's like, yeah,
actually.
you can settle these, but you need to fucking fix this because
Yeah.
this is not.
Yeah. I thought that was crazy when
Yeah.
they said that part. That I was
Yes.
just like, oh my God.
Uh-huh.
The shit that they put
That's-
in fine print.
Oh yeah. And at the end of this is actually where I noted the lawyer's teeth rotting out of his head. Because like they are fucking brown.
I didn't even notice. I really didn't even notice.
Like it's rough, but
Oh, poor Frank.
But
yeah. So like I had said, I had done a little bit of extra research, and in that I found an article by Talis Marcus from just June 23rd, 2025. And it was on cruisepassenger.com.au.
that was 3 days ago.
Yeah. And it was titled, Is the Netflix Poop Cruise Documentary Fair? And in this article, Talis is recounting different Reddit users' recollection of like their cruise experience while they were on that specific cruise. And one person had actually held an AMA, which is an Ask Me Anything, on Reddit after the event. And in the AMA, they explained that they felt like the whole situation on Netflix was like overplayed. It was bad, but they said that they still really enjoyed themselves. They said that the lower levels had the wet, smelly carpets, and that those were the levels that were uncomfortably hot. And then they said that there were actually 3 ships that came by to offer supplies to the Carnival Triumph passengers and the crew. And it was Carnival Elation,
Conquest, and then there was one more that wasn't named specifically. And
Who are these reports coming from?
it was
A passenger?
somebody who, a passenger that didn't ask me anything on Reddit. So they post that, say like, oh, I was
Okay.
on there, ask me anything, and people will like
Yeah.
ask them, and so, here. They reported that there had been some thefts in the room since, like, they had been left unattended when people went to go sleep up on the top deck. So,
See?
like, it was dark and everything
So
like that.
right there, the key cards weren't working. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then they did confirm that obviously it was very poor sanitation standards and that they could, like, smell the fecal matter and everything throughout the halls. But yeah,
Well,
pretty
no
much.
shit.
Yeah, but I thought it was crazy how they were like, "Oh, it was overplayed. It wasn't that bad. I really enjoyed myself." But then there was still poor sanitation standards, and you could smell fecal matter. I don't think that's.
I don't know.
I don't know.
We also don't know who that's because it can't be a
people could
coincidence.
say anything.
Yeah, well, it also can't be a coincidence that the documentary came out a few days ago and then this came out a few days ago. It could be.
No, this was after this person had watched the documentary and they found this AMA that had happened. Like,
yeah, but you don't know if it's an actual passenger, if it's like another PR
that's
stunt.
what I'm saying.
It could be a PR
like,
stunt.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Because everybody's so focused on it right now because it's a brand new documentary. It could be somebody from their team that's like, hop on Reddit and do this AMA to downplay this.
Exactly.
You know, this could be a PR
that's
stunt.
what I was saying. People say anything.
Yeah.
So,
it sounds pretty fucking bad.
yeah, that would put me off cruises for at least a very
that's
long
fair.
time.
This was
That's true.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know. Anyway.
But overall though, I think it was a crazy story.
It was nuts.
I had no idea this
I
happened
didn't know
in
that this
2013.
happened at all.
Yeah.
So I thought it was really interesting to watch.
Oh, yeah.
It was like
a wild story.
entertaining, but also like informative. I don't know.
It really was though. Like
Yeah.
it really is. I mean, I don't know if educational is like the right word.
No, not educational,
Like, it
just
wasn't
informative.
yeah. But like,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
it was nice to do something a little bit later.
yeah. Oh yeah. I'm glad we went this route and not.
Not with like a darker documentary.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the
What was
Ocean
it?
Gate one.
Ocean
I
Gate, yeah.
I couldn't. It was a lot.
There's another one that's called something else. It's not Ocean Gate. It's something else, but it has to do with with like Ocean Gate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad we didn't do that one. I'm glad we did this one.
Me too.
We can always stick with the train wreck
We'll see.
theme,
We'll see.
but we'll see what happens next
We'll
week.
see what we decide to do.
Okay.
But all right. Well, that was it.
Yeah.
That's it for episode 8 of Ranting.
Uh-huh.
Again, this is our Rants on the Rocks episode. And I'm not even going to say what I'm doing for next week because I don't
That's fair.
know. I don't know.
We'll
I'll
figure
probably
it out.
change my mind anyway. So let's all just be surprised together.
We'll figure it out.
Yay! Okay, so like, comment, subscribe. Check out the rest of the Ranting episodes here on YouTube.
Yep.
And we will see you next
More to
time.
come.
Goodbye.
Bye.